I say hello to the man to my right, who I could not be more excited to have here. I've known him for quite some time. He is a triple threat in that he is handsome, successful, and Canadian. He is Jesse Palmer. Good to see you over there, sir.
I do love a good poutine.
Good to see you.
Right. Poutine lovers. Rejoice.
Stand
The
up.
host of The Bachelor.
Poutine refs.
Season 27 airs Monday nights, 8 Eastern on ABC and available to stream on Hulu the next day. Premiered last Monday, this new season. Good to see you. Or 2 Mondays ago. Good to see you, sir.
Good to
What's
see you
going on,
too.
brother?
Yeah, we have known each other a very long time.
We have.
We've flown internationally together.
We have?
We have. We were on a flight together to Rome, remember?
I think it was just after Susie and I got married, and we wound up going to Europe a couple of times after we got married, and we were hanging out.
We had a legendary flight. It was leaving New York.
Yes.
It was you were on there.
Yes.
It was like, I want to say Sal Palantonio was on there. It was like Shap was on there. Jeremy Shap.
Yeah, because Shap was going.
The great Reed Bergman was on there.
It was
It was like
the agents of the stars, Reed Bergman.
It was a who's who.
You were on there, Shap. It was me and Susie. A couple of her friends. It was the worst episode of The White Lotus
ever.
It's like we were piloting The White Lotus.
We were foreshadowing season 2 of White Lotus in Sicily.
Finger foods are a
That's
must.
exactly what we were doing.
Wait, is Sal Pal F. Murray? Who I'm trying to
F. Murray Abraham would be Sal Palantonio.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
He would have had like a dad who would have been like hitting on all the girls. It would have been like, it's literally central casting.
Oh my gosh!
It's been a minute.
Great to see you.
Yeah, you too.
When did they first reach out to you to be the Bachelor? How did that happen?
I forget the exact timing of it. The role came open, and then it was like a few months after that. I think the conversation had started.
Yeah.
And and that it just sort of happened organically. It was sort of in a time frame from a scheduling standpoint. That sort of worked with some of the other things I was doing.
Like quarterbacking the New York Giants?
That was what, you mean when I was the Bachelor?
Yes, when you were the Bachelor.
So the timing worked out for that really great. The show was super new.
That's right.
I was trying to wrap my head around what it was about, but I'm someone that never says no, and I love experiences. The best part of that, the least fun part of that experience, though, was being driven to Newark Airport to fly to start filming.
Yes.
And my agent calls and says, "You got a new head coach on the Giants. You got to call him and tell him what you're doing." I said, "Okay, fine. Who is it?" He goes, "Tom Coughlin just got hired."
Oh my God.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
And I'm like, dude.
How does that conversation
I'm like, dude. But Jim Fossil was cool with it. I remember being on the practice field with Jim Fossil, and he was like, "How many women are going to be on the show today?" Everybody was good. And then I get the phone call on the way to Newark Airport. "You have to call Tom Coughlin."
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay.
So I start sweating.
I'm sweating.
I'm having like
20 years later,
palpitations.
I'm sweating.
And I get the phone. I dial in over to the football office. Coach Coughlin answers the phone. And I'm like, "Hi, Coach."
This is the first time you've ever.
I mean, I had talked to him, I think, at my pro day. There was like a quick run in at the University of Florida with the Gators.
Yes.
And I'm like, "Hey, Coach, my name's Jesse Palmer. I'm one of the quarterbacks on the team." And I start trying to get into like, how do you explain The Bachelor to Tom Coughlin? And so like I'm like spewing verbal diarrhea and just like all over myself, and I'm like trying to explain it to him, and I'm waiting. There's no answer. He's never interjecting. Okay. Like there's nothing. And finally, after like a weird, awkward pause, "Will you be back in time for minicamp?" Yeah. We finished filming in February.
Yeah.
"Well, then why are you calling me?" I'll see you. Go blue, Coach. Go blue. Put the phone down, shoot the show, come back. Fast forward, months later, show is airing.
Yes.
We're in the Meadowlands. We're in a stretch line.
Yeah.
Coughlin's walking down the stretch line. He walks by Tiki Barber. And he's like, "Tiki, remember, 5 points of pressure. Can't put the ball on the ground." He walks by Jeremy Shockey. He's like, "Remember now, in line, and you're releasing option route. Work the leverage." And then he walks by me and he goes, "Jessica?"
No, he did not.
"You picked Jessica?" So, like, that was essentially my reality living through being the Bachelor and playing for the General, Tom Coughlin.
I am literally crying, Jesse. No
dude,
way.
It was.
So he knew who you chose? Like what?
We never expected it. You have to understand too. Like at the time, this is like what 2004. So it's Eli's rookie year. It's Tom's first year.
Yeah.
Like reality TV was new.
Was Kurt there yet?
Yeah, Kurt was there. He had to be a part of it. I mean, it was, and so like reality TV was new. Real World had just started, and so I'm trying to explain to the guys in the locker room what's going on.
Yeah.
What the show is, the premise. And they're like, "Wait, so you're going on a show to find a wife? You live in New York City," and I'm like, "You play in the Giants," and I'm like, "I know, but it's this show, and it's going to be great." And so we'd have these watch parties together with all the guys.
Is that right?
Just get out ahead of it. And like, I think back then the show was like an hour long, and they would essentially just laugh at me for about an hour. And then you get into the locker room the next day.
Oh my.
And then a dude would come by and he'd be like, "My wife and I watched last night.
Yeah.
Hey, this girl Cindy you're taking a one-on-one date with, watch out, dude, she's crazy. Don't do it." And then you get the other guy.
Did you tell him that it's been shot already?
Yeah, I'm like, "Thanks for something that would have been good to know about 4 months ago when I was shooting it. Information that would have been good to me yesterday." And then there's like the rookie linebacker from Wisconsin who's like, "Did you pick Cindy? Is she still single? Would she ever?"
Oh no!
And I'm like, "Dude."
Oh my god!
Challenge flag. So essentially, like the experience of being the Bachelor that year, and if you think back to like the characters we had in the locker room, the 2004 New York Giant locker room is one of the greatest locker rooms of all time. We weren't a very good football team, but our locker room is like in the Hall of Fame in terms of the personalities in the room. We had so much fun with it, and ironically, Tom Coughlin somehow knew.
Somebody had to tell him, right?
A mole.
You don't, right?
Teams have moles.
That's another TV show. That's another reality
that's
show.
Right.
But so that would have to be, given to him unless he was legitimately sitting down. Let's see what
he
one of my
definitely was not
quarterbacks up
asking
here.
for that. That was probably information that like he did not need, but he was able to, in the stretch line at Meadowlands.
Right.
I mean, just literally like pulled a hamstring.
That's so
because
funny.
it just came out of left field.
Jesse Palmer, the current host of The Bachelor, season 27, Monday nights, 8 Eastern on ABC, available to stream on Hulu the next day, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. And before we just return to that show, what was it like to be amidst the Eli Kurt stuff back in that day, Jesse?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I think as sometimes as backup quarterbacks, you kind of wear different hats. Sort of like being the host of The Bachelor. Sometimes you're like a cheerleader, you're a therapist, and there's kind of, there's different roles you play.
And Coughlin was giving out a rose to somebody. You know what I mean? Like
right. And you got a guy who had been the MVP a couple years and had played in 2 Super Bowls and had won one, had this amazing story, had a lot left in the tank and was extremely talented. But with the first pick, you traded and got Eli, a guy that, they had hoped would end up being what he became. And so, it was not an easy situation. It was certainly delicate a lot of the time. I give Kurt a lot of credit for the way he handled it. I don't think he could have handled it better. And certainly I think a lot of people in that locker room were really happy to see what would transpire with Kurt in Arizona years and years later. But that's me explaining to them what the best pizza in New York was. Kurt's like, "No, it's Prince Street Pizza." I'm like, "Dude," and Eli's like, "I always go the wrong way. We're in Secaucus." So it's like, I had to do a lot of things. It was like therapy, it was coaching guidelines, and then what's the best pizza? Like you're playing a lot of different roles. So it was unique.
Oh my gosh. Do you miss it? Do you miss playing it?
Yeah. Again, the best people always say this. Miss competing.
Yeah.
That locker room was amazing though. And a lot of my best friends to this day came from
Stray in there too.
Yeah.
I mean,
the 5 years I was in New York, dude, like all those guys, Amani Toomer, like you think of the names, like Jason Sehorn, Jesse Armstead early on when I was there, Keith Hamilton, who's sort of this legend, who, like Shaft, like everybody was afraid of him in the locker room. There was just, like Shockey, Tiki, Ron Dane. The list literally goes on and on. Lomas Brown. I mean, all these legends. And we were all together. Sehorn. Like it was an amazing locker room. Every day it was just storytelling and the laughing. And that's That's probably outside of competing. That's the part I miss the most.
And it's amazing, man, that you are hosting a major tentpole for ABC Network right now. I mean, The Bachelor season 27 for ABC Entertainment is huge, and Stray is like, he's saying good morning to America.
It's amazing. We have a lot of people that you're right, like in that locker room that sort of went on to do TV as well. Tiki was doing it. Eli's doing more of it. Sean O'Hara's doing it.
We love him. At the
he's
network,
awesome,
man.
Like there's so many guys. Steve Horn was doing it for a while too. It's like a lot of guys have done it. Yeah, a lot of media training. In New York, that's right.
I bet. What training for The Bachelor do you have other than just having been The Bachelor yourself?
Not a lot. I know good pizza. I don't know how that really qualifies me for don't get sacked. Try to
well, that's true.
Throw away.
That's true.
RPO game. You read the defense of it. I don't know.
You having a blast or what?
I'm loving it. It's been great. A lot less pressure hosting than being The Bachelor.
I imagine, right?
Yes. You don't have to deal with the drama. You're just sort of sitting back.
Now, are you coaching said Bachelor right now?
I'm in the microphone. I'm in his ear. I'm giving him hand signals. It's like, the signs you have in college football.
Breaking down the film, the all 22.
That's right.
Over the all 22.
Now look, you're going to stand here and make eye contact. Look, power handshake, the Bachelor power handshake, straight eye contact with Zach, our newest Bachelor.
No, but you look at him and say, I was you once.
Once upon a time. The budget of the show now is way better. It's amazing. Like Zach is riding in these helicopters. He's being landed on yachts. He's in the Mediterranean.
Without you, he's not doing that. He's Ubering without you.
Dude,
I know all these places right now. Come on, you laid the groundwork, Jesse.
I rode an elephant on my show. I'm nothing. Like I love elephants. It was amazing. But bro, that's where I plateaued.
That was the ceiling?
It's a different field now. Spread offense. It's changed the game. Zach's getting to do amazing things that I only dreamed of doing back in 2004 that Tom Coughlin could have seen.
That's right.
Or never seen.
Let me tell you, Zach. I rode an elephant so you could ride a helicopter, sir. Remind him of that stuff every now and then.
Just remember where you're coming from.
That's right.
Remember who built this.
You're a legacy.
Who you're playing for.
You're not just a host. You're a legacy.
I'm a legacy. That's right. Damn it. That's right.
So you don't show up on the set with that attitude? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm Canadian. Remember.
That's right. I forgot. That's right.
Sorry,
He's Canadian.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Zach, are you good? I'm sorry.
Well, you're locked in all the damn time.
I watch. I'm very into it.
Don't say it that way. The host is sitting here.
It's one of those things like Jesse said, we're watching. You know what I mean? Like,
well, so is America.
I know. I'm a big Paradise guy. What's the difference really between the regular season and then the Paradise? How are those different?
Oh, it's like herding cats on Paradise. It's happening everywhere, and there's love triangles and love hexagons like forming all over the place.
Wow, that's a lot of geography,
geometry.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
By the way,
but they're out there. They're happening, and it's like So with Zach, you can just sort of focus on Zach and his journey. Paradise, though, it's like playing against the Ravens back in 2000.
Do you like one more
it's coming from all over the place. Like you don't know where the pressure's coming from.
Is one more fun
Syracuse
for you?
is coming. Who's the Syracuse of?
The second hardest hit I ever took in my life came against Ray Lewis and the Ravens and all of their.
What do you mean?
This whole radar thing. Back in college in the SEC, we didn't see radar defense. Everybody got in a 3-point stance. And then a guy would start creeping up, and that was the guy that was blitzing. And then all of a sudden, the NFL did this thing where it was radar, and no one puts their hand in the ground on third down. And everyone's moving around, and like Terrell Suggs won't really stay still. Found out the hard way.
So Ray hit you the
Oh, dude. Yeah, a great shot. I had Ike Hilliard running like an out and up on third down, and Ray, being Ray faked like he was dropping into a zone. So he turned his back, and our center, who was supposed to block him, when he saw Ray turn around, got his eyes off of him and started helping the guard. And literally as I'm dropping back, it's like hard focus downfield, soft focus around you. But there's a lane opening in front of me. And there's two numbers, 5-2. And it's getting bigger. And I'm like, and I'm like, I got to get rid of this. So I just turned around to throw it. Ray hit me when I got like right here. It was clean. Blacked out for about 2 seconds. And then I got my breath when I got to the sideline, but that was my introduction to Ray Lewis, and who's like the sweetest human.
So that's the second?
Second hardest.
What was the hardest?
Sean Ellis was the hardest. I was in college.
What happened
It's
there?
funny how it's like poker players. You always remember your worst beats.
Of course.
I think quarterbacks oftentimes remember their hardest hits.
Yes.
Or interceptions.
Yes.
But Sean Ellis got me in 98 in Tennessee. So Florida, Tennessee.
Oh, my gosh.
Huge rivalry.
Of course.
And it was, again, a third down. That always happens on third down. Third down play.
Yeah.
Hard play fake. Sean beats our left tackle like a drum. As soon as I turn around to throw the tight end, who's wide open in the flat. If I get him the ball, we're getting a first down. And then you start wondering, like, do we win the game? Tennessee won the national championship in 98 with T. Martin, Jamal Lewis. Mm-hmm. We might win that game. And then what if? But Sean Ellis hit me so hard that I stood up and was jogging off the field, and the trainers come rushing out. They're like, what's wrong? I'm fine. What is it? I'm good. You got to be honest. Tell us.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Raise your hands. I couldn't raise my arms. I was running off the field flapping like this. He spiked the blood flow to my arms. He hit me so hard.
Are you serious?
And I was numb in both arms jogging off, and I wasn't aware of it. That was the hardest hit. And by the way, did you see Sean Ellis just got in a fight on the side of the street in a road rage incident?
No. Why would you do that?
I just saw this on social media. I couldn't believe it. Some guy had road rage and like pulled over and tried to fight Sean Ellis.
That's a problem.
Sean Ellis knocked him out. I think it's on Twitter. Sean Ellis, at his age, I don't know how old he is. He punched a dude in the face. It's on video.
Well, I'm sure he can't drive now. His arms are dangling pretty much.
I know the feeling. I was like, I get it.
Jeez,
I was like,
Jesse.
I would have challenged Sean Ellis also if I could put my hands up to
Great
fight.
game.
but I
Lost in
couldn't.
overtime,
He
2017.
stretched this dude, by the way.
Oh, are you seeing
I
it?
want you to, yeah. He stretched
He
him.
did, like,
It was like the one hitter quitter.
yeah.
And,
So,
then
and the
he
dude
stood
like
over him.
provoked him.
And remarkably, this entire conversation sparked by the concept of the paradise version of The Bachelor.
That's a good
There you
leading
go.
question.
There
You
you
never
have
know
it.
where it's going to go.
I love Paradise.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Well done. Jesse Palmer, kind enough to stick around here for another segment, the host of The Bachelor. Again, season 27, Monday nights on ABC at 8 Eastern. You can catch it on Hulu, streaming the next day. Of course, Hulu available right here on Roku as well. So there's so many different ways for you to watch this show, certainly right here where you watch the Rich Eisen Show as well. Chris Brockman, you have a news update?
I do.
Okay. Now, I know this isn't ABC News. It's NBC News emeritus Tom Brokaw. We're so honored that Tom would grace Chris Brockman's news update with an open. Hit it.
And now, with a report of the day's news from the world of sports and entertainment, someone who is not a journalist or newsman by any definition of the word whatsoever, it's Chris Brockman.
There you go. That's our production value. What do you think of our production value?
Very
Jesse?
good. Very, very
much.
good.
What's your top story over there, Chris?
Top story. Did you guys know that Panthers have a new head coach? Did you guys hear that?
I do know that. It's
Frank Reich. Did you know that he was their first ever quarterback?
90. He was.
You guys heard that, right?
He was their 95 first ever quarterback in 95.
Was Burrow on that team?
I think he might have been.
Harry
Played
Collins was
1
on
year.
that team.
Played 1 year.
Where were you in 95? You were in college,
I
right?
was.
You still
I
there?
was in high school. I was in Nepean, Ontario, cheering on.
Where
the,
were you? What's it
That's
called?
where I grew up. Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Nepean, Ontario, the home of the great Steve Eiserman. Come on, guys, the Troy Red Wings
right.
fans out
Okay.
there, right?
Stevie Eiserman.
Yeah, that
Hey,
was
Stevie
Kerry
Y.
Collins, Frank Reich, and Jack Trudeau was on the roster.
Okay, very good.
Wow.
All right.
Remember Jack Trudeau in Tecmo Bowl, by the way?
Of course, yeah.
On
He
the
played for the
Colts.
Colts.
Every throw was like. It was not Dan Marino or John Elway. It was
Jack Trudeau. That's right.
You guys.
He
Remember
didn't
that?
have-
Remember that?
He didn't have a laser.
He did not have a laser Tecmo Bowl.
He wasn't the Bo Jackson of
No,
quarterbacks.
remember
in
the
Tecmo
Roger
Bowl.
Craig angle play that you couldn't cover?
Couldn't cover.
Couldn't cover. It was like a glitch. Not with Jack Trudeau though.
Best
Screen
news
pass.
update ever. So what do you got
Hey,
from him,
Frank Reich
Reich?
is the new head coach of the
Yeah.
Panthers now, and he spoke with the media today.
What did he say?
I was asked about the dynamic between him and the general manager.
Yeah, it's balance of power. Scott will have control of 53. You know, I'll control who's active and who's not active. But ultimately, this is, that's on paper. In reality, this is 100% collaborative. I can already tell that with Scott. We're going to work side by side. We're going to tirelessly work where we're going to have the same vision. We'll have disagreements. We'll have disagreements. We'll have different ideas. But ultimately, we'll come together as one and decide who are the best players on this team and how to build this team. And along with the scouting staff and the coaches, we'll work together. So I look forward to that. I can already tell with Scott that partnership is going to be a highlight for me, and looking forward to getting work as soon as we possibly can.
I still don't understand why the Colts fired him. I will not get it. I do not understand that. They bounced him in the middle of the season too. I mean, like they couldn't.
Itchy trigger finger, I think.
By the way, the coach we just saw on the screen was the first coach to beat the Chiefs this year. That guy.
Yeah, that was a weird game.
Colts beat the Chiefs this year. How did that happen?
Week 3, that's why. Week 3, that's what happened.
Huh.
Ended everyone's survivor pick.
That probably did bounce a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
That's a different. Don't say that name in front of the host of The Bachelor.
Oh, yeah.
Don't say that.
Different network.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Don't. I mean,
Respect.
yeah.
A little respect. I mean, you were wearing a fedora a minute ago.
It's true. That's
We
what he's
taped that
doing.
years ago.
That was
They gave the Chiefs they didn't give the Chiefs a rose that day.
nice. Is that better? Was that better?
Yeah. Were they there for the right reasons? Was he there for the right
Very good
reasons?
question. It was pretty dramatic.
It was over. It's very
It
dramatic.
was very dramatic.
Were you ever caught in a
I mean,
coach?
could you be vulnerable?
Were you ever
We're giving you bachelorisms right now. This is like a ping pong match. It's amazing.
Were you
I
ever-
love that he does watch it.
Were you ever caught in a coach GM battle? Did that ever happen to you in your career? Ever?
I
Where he's
mean-
talking about that sort of thing?
Love
No,
triangle,
it's like
Rich.
I don't
It's a
know.
love triangle.
Yeah, like we had the legendary Ernie at Corsi. Like that was our GM in New York.
That's right.
For the
Like
the fossil, and then the switch over to
Ernie
Tom
Coughlin.
Coughlin. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I once told Elway once told me to beat it, so I'm not afraid of you. You know, like he was with the Colts.
I know.
I know. I mean,
He would he'd show up to practice, like 2 people in our building. Like,
Yeah.
of course he would walk in the bubble, and you'd be like, oh God, of course it. Or if the great Wellington Maris showed
oh
up.
man, the Duke.
Yeah. He'd if he talked to us, like everybody got quiet. But if Corsi was around, that was another one that you were like, oh God.
Did the Duke watch The Bachelor when you were on it? Did he ever come up
It
to
was
you?
before. I think sadly,
he passed?
he may have passed before.
Okay.
Yeah, probably wouldn't have been appointment viewing for him. I have a feeling. I do hope to be buried in St. Patrick's Cathedral one day, much like the Duke. But no,
Oh my gosh.
no.
Like, who gave Coughlin the info? That's what I want to know.
Well, I mean,
don't know.
to know that what was going on
Yeah,
on The
to know what
Bachelor.
was
Yeah,
going
this
on.
is going to be. I'm going to get to the bottom of
I
this.
love it. What else you got over there, Chris? What else?
Pro Bowl games going on this weekend, Jesse. What would have been your best event here in the Pro Bowl games? They got the dodgeball, long drive. There's a flag football contest.
Probably flag football. I'm a beach flag football legend.
Okay, is that right?
And at the Super Bowl every year. Yeah. I've been
did
out
you
there.
ever play in those
I
games?
played multiple. I hold several records.
For MTV, is your jersey hanging in the in the rafters of MTV? Is that what you're saying?
With Dion and Snoop and Lil Wayne, Eddie George, Barry Sanders.
Who's the
Terrell
most famous
Owens.
person that you connected on a beach volleyball Super Bowl?
Lil
flag
Wayne.
football pass.
Lil Wayne. Eddie George came out to me pregame, by the way, and he was like, "You know, you got to throw the ball to Lil Wayne, right?" and I'm like, "Bro, he's 5'7". I don't know if he's gonna really work in the slot. I'm trying to. I got Dion. I got T.O. Kind of thinking go vertical. He's like, "You're gonna have to throw the ball to Lil Wayne." And I'm like, "Got it." Slant route. It's like whip. I'm just trying to get him in the
Did you
flow.
put it right on him?
Put it right on him. Just big catch radius, Lil Wayne.
Wayne's Lil catch radius is big.
And not afraid to go over the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, it does
Good
not
to
hear the
know.
footsteps. In case
Good
you're ever
news-
playing with Lil
Jesse,
Wayne.
the good news is you're an AFC alternate for the games.
Oh
this
my
week.
gosh.
Uh-oh.
Did you hear that? Yeah, you're in. 'Cause all the guys are out. Mahomes is in the Super Bowl. Allen and Burrow pulled out. Tua's out. Herbert's out. Lamar's out. So you're in with Tyler Huntley, who was just added today. Also, Derek Carr, going to be a farewell for Derek Carr.
So he got that tweet that he put out today is legit.
Is
he
really,
got the call.
yeah, he got the call. He's playing along with
Makes
Trevor
sense.
Lawrence on the AFC roster.
So the AFC Pro Bowl quarterbacks, when it's all said and done,
Trevor Lawrence, Derek Carr,
yes.
Tyler Huntley. And
Tyler Huntley?
all
Could
two
you
of his
imagine if you
touchdowns
didn't
this
get
year.
the call in the AFC? With all due respect,
Mac Jones?
Mac
and
Jones. You're not going with the Jets, guys. You can't
Kenny
do that.
Pickett, Flacco could have made it, I guess.
Oh God, like it's 2008
Mike
all
White?
over again. Mike White's not going.
Well, he's
not
still hurt,
going?
I think.
Yeah, they're not calling up the Browns,
Yeah, not
right? That's not happening. Tannehill can't limp in there.
Poor
Not going to
Jacoby
be
Brissett
Joshua
probably.
Dobbs.
Davis Mills is not going in
No.
front of some of those other names?
No.
Really?
No, I guess not.
Well, they have the number one pick.
Tyler Huntley's going over Davis Mills?
Tyler Huntley had 2 touchdowns this year.
If you're Davis Mills, you're.
He jumped over a pile with a football and got knocked out.
Fumbled.
That's true.
And
I know.
returned. Okay.
Wow.
Well, I guess maybe Russ said no. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
That is what I mean. What
That
else are you
is-
going to
that
do?
is
You're not going
wild.
to Tua. Tua's out. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, it'll be great.
Hey.
It's going to be on ESPN
Hey,
with
all right.
the Mannings.
All right, let's
There you
go.
go.
With
Yeah.
the Manning cast.
It's all big. You're cast member. They're all cast members.
Yeah, let's get them out there. Long
What
drive.
were you doing on Sunday? Did you watch the AFC Championship game?
I did.
You were one of 52 million
Wow.
people who watched. Ratings are in for Championship Sunday.
That is.
Isn't
a
that cool
huge
though?
number.
Like
52
in
million.
seriousness, like
Yes.
the Mahomes Burrow thing, like how that's like we hope for years and years and years now going to become like.
And the neat thing though is that if it's not them, it's Burrow and Allen.
Yes.
And if it's not them, it's Allen and Mahomes.
Right.
You know, and then Herbert, let's see when he can raise his hand and
Yep.
enter this fray.
Yep.
I mean, we just saw Trevor Lawrence say, I'll be that fourth
and if
seed.
Tua can stay healthy and Miami keeps building.
And then whatever's going on with Lamar, I have no earthly idea. But, you know, he's a
By the
former
way,
MVP.
why aren't we talking about that in the last 2 weeks? Because of playoffs?
Correct.
Just because like we got our focus and attention off of that.
That's
We
correct.
spoke about it every week, the entire season.
Right. and then they lost. And then we forget about it because the Ravens have no, you know, there's no press conference for us to ask about it. Next time it'll be at the combine.
Yeah.
When they have press availability at the combine, it'll be like, well, yeah, that thing that we didn't stop talking about 6 weeks ago that we stopped talking about it. What about that?
Because
That's
we're
what it's
talking
gonna
about Tyler Huntley in the Pro Bowl. That's why.
That's or Brady or Rodgers
Yeah.
or, you know, the playoffs and now the Super Bowl. That's
I mean,
why.
that is a huge elephant in the room, isn't it?
Which one?
Lamar.
Yes.
I mean,
Of course.
it's crazy how
I
much
think so.
news is happening right now.
My spidey sense is going off about it, but everybody says we love him. There's no problem. He's going to stay here. I don't know. But 52 million people tuned in to watch a heck of a football game.
Yeah.
And how good are those guys too, man? How good? I mean, Burrow is just out of his skull great.
Out of
And
his skull.
Mahomes is just an alien, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, they are. I mean, to me, like Mahomes, this playoff is about as impressive as anything I've seen. Just playing through the high ankle.
Did you
injury.
ever have one
I
of
had
them?
multiple. I actually got 2 on one play once
what?
against the Georgia
Well, you only
Bulldogs.
have 2 ankles.
Yeah, I only
so,
have 2 ankles. So that Will Witherspoon. It was like a horse collar before there was horse collar.
so you had both your ankles
Yeah, it was
twisted
brutal.
high ankles?
2 walking boots on campus in Gainesville, macking chicks. Not really.
Hey, Jesse.
Not
It
really.
probably didn't matter.
Not really.
You did,
Not
you
really.
did fine, I'm sure.
Bro, like it was like a guy with ski boots, like walking around in like Abercrombie Fitch cargo shorts. It wasn't. Not really my
By the
best.
way-
Not really my best look.
Those were great cargo shorts.
But yeah,
those were
Mahomes-
great.
yeah, but dude, he's been amazing. So playing through that,
Yeah.
and then just what you're down 4 your top 6 receivers at the end of the game against
Yeah,
the
that's
Bengals,
true,
and
too.
like so we talk about like greatness and people able to like elevate teams around them. Even the 9-yard scramble at the end to help them get in that position to.
Yeah.
To win the game, to me, like I just think he's positioning himself. He's already done it this early in his career as one of the great competitors, at least
Agreed.
in my generation of sports.
No
And,
doubt.
Like you never want to put anybody in a paragraph or a sentence with
Do it.
Michael Jordan
I
or
did it
Tom Brady.
I did it yesterday.
Sirianni just did it with Hurts, so I got the green light now.
Right.
But it's like, dude, in terms of wanting to win
Yep.
and refusing to lose, I mean, Jordan, Tom Brady to me are sort of in this echelon.
Serena, you can.
Yeah, yeah,
Who
yeah.
else did we say yesterday? We said
Novak.
Tiger. I mean,
Tiger, Novak, like,
he
I mean-
is. It's Steph Curry. He is in that pantheon right now.
It's
I agree.
this early. It's amazing, right? And then you got Burrow, who just like he just has like a given S factor about him that is just incredible. Like he does not care. He knows he's good. No stage is ever too big. Loves adversity, and he literally does have ice water in his veins. And he's all the years I've been 17 years at ESPN covering college football. Outside, like him and Andrew Luck are the two, and Deshaun Watson maybe are the 3 most accurate guys I've ever seen. It is insane. It is insane how accurate Joe Burrow is.
That throw he made to Higgins to high point it for the touchdown to tie the game, and then the CBS showed the camera angle from the low shot from the end zone of the ball coming out. He threw it way before Higgins even turned to go upfield.
And you can't teach that.
You can't.
Like anticipation
You're
is
born with it or
something
you're not.
in the position. Yeah, like you can see the picture
Yeah.
before it develops.
Yeah.
And it's just a gift that some people have and some people try to work on. It was something Justin Fields wasn't great at Ohio State. He's getting better at in his career in Chicago early.
Right.
But Joe Burrow had it coming out, and you just see it each and every week when he makes these throws. That's the thing about the NFL, and people always ask, like, what's the difference playing that position between college and pro?
Mm-hmm.
Windows open and close so much quicker, and the pass rush gets home a lot faster, and veterans on the other side of the ball know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, right.
So like the Ray Lewis that turns around and shows you zone and then hits you right in the sternum, like 2 seconds later. Like there's a bunch of guys out there like that are just trying to. Ed Reed was one of the best at it,
right?
Of trying to show you a picture and then change it. Can you process all of that in a matter of seconds, but then execute? And what Joe Burrow does is it's simply better than most.
Jesse Palmer here on the show. You got another one over there?
Oh, I have so much.
Okay, what do you got?
NFC Championship ratings, $47.5 million.
Jeez.
For that game. So,
Well, I mean, if the Niners had a quarterback
would've-
healthy,
Yeah, that was so
then
anticlimactic.
that would have matched maybe.
Yeah.
You think people
52
actually turned the TV off after the first drive?
I think so. I think people
No,
turned it.
they
I think
probably just left it
first
on and
drive.
kinda did some
I thought
stuff
you
in
meant
the
first
back.
half.
No.
There might be some after the first half, maybe. I don't.
It was
just got a sense of
yeah.
it when Purdy came back in, and clearly he was,
You knew he was. That was a draw.
right. By the way, I have on the Purdy front. I will say this. I reached out to Tom House. You know Tom? He's like one of the legends
Throwing coaches.
of throwing coaches, baseball and football. I asked him about if Purdy has a torn UCL, what does that mean in his throwing elbow? And of course, he doesn't see the MRI, but he said torn UCL usually means Tommy John in a 12-month rehab.
Wow.
Good news is they're successful 85% of the time with quarterbacks, though.
Can you imagine?
But they're saying, he has a torn UCL completely, but the surgery is just 6 months. It's not Tommy John, but
Have you ever even heard of a
You would
UCL? I've never even heard of one.
It's the Tommy. Isn't it the Tommy John
Yeah,
ligament?
it's
the
a
ligament in your elbow.
They just never call it that.
If you have a clean break, is that better than a tear?
No idea.
No idea.
I don't know. I'm just
How about
throwing
that? How about that whole situation? Like what you do?
out. In the game, you mean?
No,
Or-
like
or-
San Francisco, or how are you going to manage that position now moving forward? I mean, is
Yes.
like based on everything you just said, when's Brock Purdy available next year?
Right now, they're saying it's possible training camp, even with surgery.
Possible
But
training camp.
Again, Tom House would know what a UCL
Yeah.
tear means, and usually does mean for surgery.
Man.
Maybe we'll find out. But if he's not available until training camp, we were talking about it before, Jesse. And Lance is coming off of that ankle that required surgical reparation of bones and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Brady's raising his hand saying, I'll play
Bay
for my
Area
hometown
guy, I
team.
want to come out. The roster's built right now
Right
to go
now.
win. And the NFC is the path of least resistance. To get back to the big game, yeah. A lot of those other windows are in the AFC. Absolutely.
Don't you think?
It's tough, man. I don't know.
A couple more things, guys. Good news for Cooper's fantasy lineup. LeBron is going to play tonight.
Oh, it's good. Great.
Yeah,
All right.
severe ankle soreness, it was described as, and now he's ready to go.
Isn't that weird?
Isn't that weird?
So they it's the back end of a back-to-back. Yes, front end. It's
Front end, I'm too
but
sore.
maybe his resting made it well enough to go tonight.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right.
He's playing tonight against the Knicks. And then the New York City mayor, Eric Adams, he was on CNN earlier and said, yeah, the Empire State Building stuff where they put the Eagles colors, quote, that got away from us.
So that's what he said. That got away from us.
Got away from us.
What does that mean? Got away? What does that mean? It got away from us.
That was his quote. That
He
got
didn't
away
get
from
He
us.
didn't
I mean,
get the memo. I mean, there's
that got
nothing.
away from
As
us.
a guy that lived in New York City 21 years, you can't explain that one
You can't.
away. Well, St. Patrick's Day is coming.
We're trying to
Like,
get Aaron
what-
Rodgers.
Like, what are you going to say about
trying
that?
to-
Wait a minute.
Aaron
Wait a minute.
Rodgers.
McDonald's says there's a new Shamrock Shake.
That's what it
You know
was.
what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it was.
We can't put arches on this
No,
building.
no, just
it's
put
the
it
color of the
green
shake.
white. Everybody will get it.
Don't
Trust
forget
me.
Cookie O Puss.
That's it. You know the Carvel.
Tom Carvel.
Can you believe that?
No, that's rough. There's nothing
At least
else.
the back pages didn't jump all over it. Wait a minute. Hold on, and they did. Did you see the back pages?
no.
Yeah. There we go. Hoskins has got them ready. Yeah, the Post and the Daily
And the
News had a
Daily
field
News.
day with it.
They,
What does that mean? It got away from Bird Brain, says the New York Post. Off-color Empire Mistake Building lights up for the Eagles. And then the Daily News said, "Where's King Kong when you need him?"
Pretty good.
That's
And then they did it for the Chiefs later too.
well. I mean, they had to cover their tracks there, right?
Yeah.
Or it
Equal
was just like,
opportunity.
yeah, there it is.
Look
That
at that.
hurt us more than it hurt you.
exactly. It's like, what
says
are we
the Twitter
doing?
account. Come on.
I think they're just lighting up for everything these days.
I don't know.
It's
Can
the
we just-
world's
can we
building,
just,
not just New
Did the
York.
NFL like make a deal, say whatever the colors are,
Empire
light it up?
State.
Like
It says it.
we think
No idea.
the Empire State Building finished last in the U.S. Landmark Fantasy League,
Yeah.
and this was like it was
Pay off the-
right.
pay
It
off
was like
the
to come down to
government.
last week, either the Space Needle or the Empire State Building had to light up the colors
Yeah.
of the hated rival.
Yeah, the Golden Gate Bridge was off last week. They were going crazy. We really got to answer.
Mount
I
Rushmore.
know.
can't lose
I
the NFC
know.
championship game.
Jets, Jets,
Right.
Jets.
Yeah, right. Like that's a Jets
Like,
colors.
anybody's
A
gonna get that.
championship weekend. Right. I got it.
Lincoln
Oh
Memorial.
my gosh. Great news update, Chris. Thank you, Jesse. This
Dude,
is
this
a
was
blast,
fun, man. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime.
Appreciate
when
it.
you're in
Thank you.
town, I mean,
Yeah,
I'd love it.
I'll roll in.
It's been too long.
It has been too long.
It's been too long
We need
since-
another flight to Italy.
There, since our White Lotus
White Lotus
adventure.
season 3 coming out.
20
Palo Antonio.
Bristol. They'll have that. They'll have.
That's right.
It'll be the hotel across the street.
No, the old Clarion. Let's not do that.
Oh, brother, I was there when it was a Radisson.
Ooh.
I stayed in that hotel the night before. This is the hotel across the street from ESPN. I stayed in that hotel the night before I tried out.
Really?
Yes, and I couldn't sleep. Of course I couldn't sleep. I'm 26 years old. I have a chance to make Sports Center. If my audition goes well the next day, I could not sleep. And one of the things I'm beginning to drift off, I'm like thinking, what is that running water? It was the person in the room upstairs peeing in the toilet.
It was Mike Ditka.
Yes, it probably was. Good to see you, Jesse Palmer. You're the best, man. Season 27 of The Bachelor airs Monday nights with this man as host, 8 Eastern on ABC, available to stream on Hulu the next day. And you can, of course, get it right here on Roku using the Hulu app. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.